All offseason during minicamp and training camp, we've been watching the wide receivers of the Kansas City Chiefs, the young wide receivers battle it out. Justin Ross, Skyy Moore, Rashee Rice, all of them throughout the camp making plays every day, highlight after highlight. And it might be all for nothing as this offense did not look good yesterday. The wide receivers were dropping balls. Things were not clicking, and the targets was being spread so far around that it's really hard to see who's going to feast in this offense. The big bust of the night were Kadarius Toney and Skyy Moore, as a lot of people started them in fantasy football, and they did not reap the results fantasy gamers wanted. Let's take a look at the numbers. Let's see what happened. But before we do, you gotta click that subscribe button. Stop missing out because we're going over the metrics on all these players. We're going to help you with the waiver wire, setting those lineups. We're doing deep dives on these players. And today, we're going to look at the wide receivers for the Kansas City Chiefs and look at the clues because I found some stats that you need to look at. But let's go ahead and take a look at this. So here we go. We're going to look at some advanced metrics here from last night's game. The Travis Kelce injury was a huge cog in the machine right now. Really jammed things up for the offense as we saw Noah Gray get 5 targets. Tied for the lead in targets between Rashee Rice, Kadarius Toney, 13.5% target share. The thing about this, look at how many pass catchers saw targets. That doesn't have the running backs in this. We'll get to the running backs later in the passing game. But that doesn't even have the running backs. So the ball's being spread around a lot. We don't have anybody pushing a 20% target share, and things are just getting spread around. Tops is at 5 targets in a high volume passing game, and things were not looking great there. We saw some balls dropped here. Snap share, we're looking at 57 snaps for Noah Gray, 20 for Rice, 19 for Watson. Skyy Moore had 45 snaps. He led everybody with snaps here outside of Noah Gray here, and only saw just a few targets, and that did not go well. And then Justin Watson comes out, and he gets a couple targets, and then gets 102 air yards. Comes out of nowhere. We talked about him earlier this week as a guy that could surprise you because he has a history of getting those deep balls. He's got 4.3 speed. He's got size. He can get downfield. Has a little bit of ball skills. A guy that we've been watching ever since he was in Tampa Bay and now with the Chiefs, and he has his moments here and there. Had kind of some moments yesterday. Saw a 10% target share in yesterday's game. A guy that you need to pay attention to. The thing about this passing offense is it's very hard to predict. Looking at the yards here, you're seeing it. You don't have anybody over 50 yards receiving in this game. You had Rice scoring 11 fantasy points. That's a wide receiver 3 producer right there at 11.6. Maybe low-end wide receiver 2, depends on what happens on Sunday. But not looking good, and it's being spread around here with the targets, and then the yards are not getting it because we're not getting any yak off of some of these players, not getting the yards after the catch, also the drop balls like I've been stating here. But with the ball being spread so thin and just the juice in the offense here, there are going to be moments for all these guys, for Rice, for Toney, for Moore, for Ross. These guys are all going to have their moments off and on throughout the season because the balls are being spread around. I said this earlier this week, and I said this before that even, that I think Patrick Mahomes is going to be the Bill Belichick of quarterbacks. That when Bill Belichick has a system of running backs all throughout the years, the history of time, that you don't know which one you want to start, but you also want a piece of it because you're going to have running backs hitting off and on throughout the season at a high level. We're going to see that in this offense this year, especially when we get better game scripts, better consistency, better efficiency, guys catching balls. Even with Travis Kelce back, these guys are going to be a lot more efficient on the field. I think you're going to have games for Rice, games for Ross, games for Moore, games for MVS, and it's just going to go back and forth with some of these wide receivers because Mahomes don't care. If he sees you're open on the play, he's going to target you. And if you catch it, you catch it. You don't. But he's going to come back to you if you're open because he's stepping back there. He's rolling out. He's looking around. And he just sees you got a red shirt on. And he's going to toss it your way. sling a sidearm or whatever. And it's going to come your way, and it's going to hit you in the hands. You better catch it. Some of these guys weren't doing that last night. But again, the volume, the potency of this offense is still there because they are running a lot of plays. They're throwing the ball a lot. We're going to see that a lot this season. This is a weird game script. But it was in the cards. It was talked about. And again, these guys are going to go off and on. It's not a team that you're really, really feeling good about the consistency here. Some of these players are going to have some pop-off weeks, but when you're sitting here with a bunch of guys hovering at low-end double-digit target share, 13.5 and 10, that's not looking good. The ball's being spread around a lot, and you're not going to know who to start because there are going to be games where one guy's going to pop off. Then the next game, another guy is. That's just how this is going to be. It's going to be very random. Again, when you're looking at these players, you probably want the cheapest one, but you don't want the cheapest one. You want a cheaper guy out of this offense, maybe a Rice, maybe a Ross. If you paid up, you're playing with a little bit of fire week to week, but some of these guys are going to hit. You're going to get your Toney game. You're going to get your Skyy Moore game. You're going to get your Rice game. You're going to get your Ross game. You're just not going to know when it is, but these game scripts are going to break. Now to the running backs here in the passing game. You got Isaiah Pacheco getting a 10% target share off 4 targets. It's hard to get a double-digit target share off 4 targets. And when you're getting 7 targets at the running back position on top of things getting spread around there on all those tight ends and wide receivers, you got 3 running backs getting targets in this game on top of a grid of pass catchers. That's just hard to do. You don't see that too often. Mahomes wheels it and deals it and spreads it around. A 10.8% target share to Pacheco. McKinnon has been known to run a lot of routes and see a lot of targets. Don't know what happened. Don't know why he was schemed up like that yesterday. But that could change. Usually they like to do that in the back half of the season. It was like that in 2021 too. So maybe in the back half of the season you want to buy McKinnon. I don't know. Clyde Edwards-Helaire was getting some run as well. This is an interesting passing offense. But my take is still the same over this from a macro standpoint. You want some of these pass catchers. You want a cheap entry cost. You want some of Patrick Mahomes. The thing is, though, there are going to be times you don't know who to start from this offense, and it's going to be like the running backs from the Patriots from back in the day where you do not know who's going to pop off, but somebody's going to do it. And then some days, they'll get stifled, like yesterday. But also, you got Rice there getting you some fantasy points as well. So that was your guy from yesterday's game. But some games you'll get 2, some games you'll get 1. You're just not going to know who's going to do it. Plus Travis Kelce will be back. That might lighten the load for some of these pass catchers as well. Allow them to get open a little bit easier as they got to account for him. But again, it's going to be hard to predict these wide receivers from week to week. These guys aren't world beater wide receivers. They got some talent. They're good. But they're not like a Chase level prospect, a Tyreek Hill level prospect. Not getting it done on a top level. Good enough to get the job done, but not good enough to take you to the ship. So, look at these wide receivers and just see that they're going to be volatile assets going forward. This offense is going to be volatile in the passing game. As Mahomes is so good, he can just sling targets wherever he wants, and he doesn't care because he knows he's going to get it to his man, and all he needs is that much separation. Let me know what you think in the comments below. I want to hear about it. Make sure you hit that subscribe button on the way out. Catch you on the next video.